Hello, fellow rogues. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another legacy video. And, Alex B shipped me this sweet rogue list, so put on some robes. It's time to pass some stealth checks, if you know what I mean. Alright, what are we looking to do today? So, today we are looking to put either Curiosity or Curious Obsession onto a rogue. And both of these cards let you draw a card whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player. And the Curious Obsession also gives it +1/+1. Now, the Curious Obsession does have a downside where at the beginning of your end step, if you didn't attack with a creature this turn, you do sacrifice Curious Obsession. So what are the creatures that we're looking to put these on? So we have Slitherblade, which is a 1/2 unblockable. We have Invisible Stalker, Invisible Stalker, there we go, which is hexproof and it can't be blocked. And we have True Name Nemesis, which also is in the honorary can't be blocked club. There is also Brazen Borrower. So we are this rogue tribal draw a card deck. We're not doing much in terms of interacting with things once they hit the battlefield. Our goal is to stop things before they happen. So we have Spell Pierce, Daze, Force of Negation, Force of Will, and, of course, Foil. You can discard an island card and another card rather than pay the spell's mana cost to counter target spell. The sideboard here is basically a pile of back to basics and then a few more counter spells and some graveyard hate. And then we have Umezawa's Jitte so that we can actually deal with some creatures that hit the battlefield. But generally speaking, we are looking to draw a whole bunch of cards and then leverage those cards with pitch counter spells. That's the game plan. I feel like a lot of our matchups are going to be landslides in one direction or the other. Like we just stick one of these things and our opponent can't deal with it. We draw a whole bunch of cards and we just spiral out of control. Or our opponent sticks some stuff and we can't deal with it and then we die. So I think this is going to be a fast league one way or another. I do think you're supposed to split the islands between regular islands and snow-covered islands for opposing predicts, but probably not that big of a deal. There is some question of whether or not like you should actually run some tribal lands, like Cavernous Souls in particular. Is that actually better than Wasteland? Hard to say. We'll kind of see how this plays out, but it should be a lot of fun. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for legacy, modern, and vintage content 5 days a week. And if you're a returning fan, please throw me a like. It's the easiest way to support my content for free. If you're, hold on, brain, I have something else to say. Right, okay, here we go. Figured it out. If you want to try out this deck or you want to get one of your own decks on the channel, that information is available in the video description. Check it out. Let's battle. Okay. So this is like my very first game with this deck, right? And so like this is a hand that just has like a True Name Nemesis and the ability to stop whatever my opponent is trying to do early. Is this hand good enough to keep? I feel like the answer is slightly on the side of no, but I think I'm gonna keep this one. Like Double Wasteland is very good against Urza Saga decks. Force of Will buys me time, and basically every non-land card in the deck improves this hand. Whether it's just like another early threat or, a curiosity effect. I want to mulligan pretty deep. I am going to be thinking combo. I think I'm just going to pass the turn here rather than ponder. I think I want to keep access to double counterspell, and if I cast the ponder, I lose that option. I also don't really want to cast this Daze if I don't have to. I want to cast this True Name on turn 3. All right, here we go. Kind of get a feel for what's going on here in terms of these lands. Wooded Foothills is often like a Delver fake out fetch land. A Burning Wish. Okay, we're playing against Storm. I think I am comfortable dazing that. So I can daze this and then go after my opponent's blue source here. And then like I always send the other land the next turn. And we'll kind of go from there while still having the ability to ponder. Okay, looks like we have stopped the initial onslaught. Ooh, I'm super happy with Chrome Mox as a draw. That means that I can be... Well, I guess I can do this in their upkeep. Sorry, finishing the thought. That means that I can deploy a True Name 1 turn sooner, which is a huge boon. I would now like to just draw any card, basically. Yeah, that's a blue card. I don't think I need to ponder. I'm going to put one True Name under a Chrome Mox this turn. Yeah. Also, like, I totally dig this art. This is the first time I've gotten to play with this art of True Name Nemesis, I think. Okay. So Spell Pierce is an awesome draw. That means I can play the second True Name to accelerate my clock while holding up 2 different counterspells. That is a big win. I'm not 100% sure what we're playing against. Shatterskull smashing is kind of a weird one. Yeah. I don't know that it matters too much what my opponent is playing. I don't mean that in an insulting way, but like my counter spells are going to be good against this deck, right? Like just regardless of what like my opponent's exact plan is, any counter spells that I have on the board are coming in. The real question is like, is the graveyard based stuff good? Like my Leyline of the Voids is better in the sideboard. I think I let this resolve. Yeah, that's fine. Uh-huh. Okay. Oh. Alright, you may play an additional land on each one of your turns. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. Let's assume that I'm supposed to counter that. Okay, there is the concession. I have not seen this exact variant. I have seen Song of Creation Storm decks before, but I have not seen them with like the modal double based card land things. It'd be really funny if I gained control of that card. Alright, I think I want my Hydroblast, my Force of Negations, and I think Back to Basics is worth considering. I don't think Brazen Borrower is exactly nuts, although the interaction is kind of interesting. My threats don't close the game super quickly, but I have a giant pile of counterspells. So I have 14 counterspells in the main deck. Pretty good. How do I feel about True Name Nemesis? It's slow, but it's the hardest hitting of my creatures just in terms of a raw clock. I want these cards for sure. I am unsure about the Back to Basics. It does kind of seem like a way that I can pretty easily cheese wins because I'm guessing my opponent has no basics. Yeah, I don't know how exactly I'm supposed to board. Let's assume the whole like Brazen Borrower bounce your Song of Creation thing is too awkward. I don't know, maybe there's like defense grids in there. Okay. Alright, let's trim 2 True Name Nemesis. Trim 1 Curiosity Effect. I don't know, maybe the Preordains are worse than the Curiosity Effect. I don't really want to tap mana for things like Preordain and Ponder. I just want to play cards that I draw and hold up counterspell mana. Yeah, you know what? Fuck cantrips. Rogues don't cantrip. Rogues just stab you. Well, sometimes there's a sneak and then a stab, but, you know. Cantrips, that's like wizard stuff. Okay, so I have 3 Curiosity effects and no creature to put it on. I think I have to mulligan this one. This hand is fine. I will keep it. And let's junk the Hydroblast here. Hydroblast is one of my more narrow options in terms of counter spells. Alright, what is this? Break It Rich. Okay. Cool. Martin over there is doing some interesting things. I probably just need to counter this, otherwise so many of my cards in the future are going to be dead. Let's discard an island, and I do have to discard another card. It probably has to be this Curiosity, unfortunately. Alright, perfect. I just exactly wanted another land. It'll be awkward, like whether or not I actually do just like tap 2 mana to play the Invisible Stalker next turn now that I don't have the Curiosity. Now this Spell Pierce can eventually just be played around with Soft Permission. Or with Mona. The Spell Pierce is Soft Permission, so eventually it can just be played around like we see here. Alright, defense grid is happening. I can't stop that here. Oh. Okay. Is that just going to be like an echo of eons that'll go directly to the graveyard? Yeah. That's fair. 2 more? 3 more. Okay. I will play a 1/1. Alright. Opponent gets to do their thing. A bunch of my spells are not going to be great. Do your thing. I'll just drink some tea. Holy curiosity, Batman. Alright, so the Brazen Borrowers are good. Not sure how I feel about Leyline. If there's a whole playset of gambles in there, like the Leyline has some degree of utility that I didn't know was there as of the previous game. We'll see. I could just like echo again. I don't know what degree of consistency my opponent's deck is actually going to have. You don't see this sort of thing around a lot, so that makes me think Glass Cannon. Ooh, Galvanic Relay. There is a Song of Creation that's going to happen next turn. And unfortunately, bricked on my land, so I'm not going to get to counterspell next turn. So, guess that means we're just going to suit up little buddy here. See what happens. Hope to draw a land. Chrome Mox is also pretty good. But I expect to always yes, always yield. Always yield, always yes. Okay, go to second main phase, play a land, pass the turn. Unfortunately, defense grid means that I don't get to say no to this stuff. So, do your worst, Spartan. I'm prepared. I'm also going to let them just do their thing here for the amusement of my 7,000-ish YouTube followers. This is pretty dope. Love it. I love it. What went under that? Oh, it's another Shatter Skull smashing. Alright. So my opponent does have that Echo hanging out in exile, so they're just gonna do things. I'm also probably nearing the point of just dead to Burning Wish for some spell. I don't know if they have Tendrils or if it's just like Grape Shot or whatever. Target Rich is sort of neat here. Contributes to Metalcraft. Like, it draws 2 when they have the Song of Creation, and it has flashback, so like it can be turned into another 3 mana draw 2 later. As in, this just cracks LEDs and kills me. Yep. Oh, do they just... Oh, they just have the mana necessary via Lotus Petals. Okay. GG's. Okay, let's re-examine sideboards now. I feel about this back to basics plan. A bunch of my opponent's lands enter tapped or cost them 3 life. I think it's probably fine to continue on that plan. They still just pitch to all my blue pitch counters. I don't like them. But like I don't think Ponder's necessarily good here. Like, I don't have fetch lands to make the Ponders like the average card quality that they are in a like normal blue fetch land deck. So yeah, I don't think I want them. I think I just want to like play an idiot draw cards this way. Leyline has some degree of utility. I'm not sure if I actually want it. I maybe should have boarded in the Commandeer for Spice. This has no basic lands. This is a lot of counter magic. I probably keep this hand. Keep the pile O counter magic and hope that things work out. As long as my opponent doesn't have a defense grid, I think things are okay. Defense grid specifically is pretty bad for me. Assuming it resolves. You can have the Chrome Mox. Try to go after bigger fish here. Gamble. Yep. Again, I'm gonna try to go for the big fish here. Yep. I feel confident that I can do this specifically because of Force of Negation. I do not like that. I think this costs me 2 cards. I think I Spell Pierce this one, make them pay for it, and then daze it. This cost me Spell Pierce and daze, but it cost my opponent 2 Rite of Flames and a defense grid. So I am good with that. And I do still have Force of Will plus daze if my opponent's last card is Echo specifically. Alright. Well, there we go. I think my nothing is stronger than my opponent's nothing. I have a bunch of like 1 mana and free counter spells, and my opponent really requires multiple cards in order to do anything. Yeah. Back to Basics is strong here because it is a blue card that pitches the Force of Negation. I also made my opponent's land drops very awkward now by playing out this Wasteland. I'll give you the Mox Opal. So Gamble gets an Echo. I will just counter the back end of that with Force of Negation or another card. I am good with that. Slitherblade. Gotta get your Nagas in there. Yeah. I will counter that. I am left with Slitherblade. King of the Red Zone. King? Queen? Looks vaguely dude-ish. Alright, 1 damage. I think I'm supposed to send this Chrome Mox back to their hand. You know, keep them further away from Metalcraft. Oh yeah. Okay, now we're cooking with gasoline. Slitherblade. Unstoppable. Let's yield to some triggers. Always yes. Always yield. Spell Pierce is great as of next turn when I can hold it up. And then hopefully I'll be holding up like both Spell Pierce and Brazen Borrower at the same time. And we'll hope to just bury my opponent in free cards. Your Chrome Mox is fine. They have put a wastelandable land under there. Makes sense. Alright. Let's get another card. Really just hoping for a land more than anything else here. Go to 17. Pick up another Curiosity. I think I just want to hold up Spell Pierce rather than slam that Curiosity. Although next turn I'll probably just play the Curiosity if I don't draw a land. Hope to hit an island in 2 draws. I think that's the plan. We'll see. Yes. I am good with this. And now we're... Oh, I have to always yes to this one separately. Okay. Now I will go land. I think I just Chrome Mox pitching the back to basics here. And then I'll hold up Spell Pierce and also Brazen Borrower. Get in there, Fairy Rogue. Join your Naga brother. Alright. Send them. At 4 damage a turn, this is pretty respectable. Oh, disgusting. I guess go to my opponent's turn. Then I'll go ahead, add insult to injury by petty thefting that Chrome Mox for the 2nd time. Now, we stop that. I still have a Hydroblast available, so I still have some degree of protection. I really wanted to put this Brazen Borrower in attacking this turn, but you can't have it all. Chrome Mox returns. Pitching a Burning Wish. That's a pretty high cost. Yeah, I'll give you the treasure token. I think most of the things that I care about from here are red. Oh, well. Guess that's happening. Oh, I can't, like, X out these. Oh. Alright, so there's a good number of things in exile that I have to be thinking about. My opponent doesn't have that much mana, and I'm about to wasteland them too. So I think I'm still good. So let's blow up that land. They don't have Metalcraft for Mox Opal right now. Although I think this Lotus Petal was one of the things exiled with Galvanic Relay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 available mana potentially. So I think I'm going to go ahead and Chrome Mox and pitch the back to basics again. This will leave me with end of turn Brazen Borrower and double Hydroblast. Hydroblasts can cover like Gamble, Song of Creation, and Burning Wish in some combination. Alright, so there's Wooded Foothills. What lines do you have with these cards? Lotus Petal I can't stop. That turns on this card. I am going to just Hydroblast that. I don't know how many lines they realistically have, but I'm just going to stop the first 2 red cards that I can try to stop. Get it? And there is the concession. Rogues starting off strong. Okay, we are playing against a Yorion deck of some kind this round, and my opening hand doesn't really have a threat. I can try to use Ponder to find a threat, but I'm also trying to use Ponder to find a land. I think I just mulligan this one. Alright. I don't know how heavily I'm supposed to mulligan to, like, try and find early idiot plus curiosity effect. That's something I'll probably get a feel for by the end of this league. Yeah, that happens. That's since I don't have a curiosity effect, that is not worth the counterspell here. Assuming that we're playing against Yori and Death and Taxes, my counterspells have much, much, much better targets. Oh no. That's the Spirit of the Labyrinth that is uncounterable. Well, hopefully I just get to play True Name Nemesis and clown on my opponent. I mean, Invisible Stalker is not bad either. Now I need. No, the Curiosity effect isn't even good. Because tutor. Okay, sure. Only a worth Force of Will. Not really. But it does make the Force of Will awkward. Because as soon as I draw a land, I want to trap and tap out for True Name Nemesis. So I think I'm just going to do one of these, even though I don't love this play, objectively speaking. Yep, okay. So this is basically exactly how I wanted things to curve out here. Protection from you. Now, you can't be blocked, so you can safely swing in this turn. Visible Stalker has done 1 point of damage and saved me 3 points of damage. Yep. This is something that can realistically race my bullshit. My opponent can get like a Cauldra. Just sort of fire nice. Sure. I mean, obviously that's good because it lets my opponent punch through True Name Nemesis. This is not a live card right now. I need more power. So assuming my opponent puts sort of fire and ice on Spirit of the Labyrinth, I get hit for 7, so I'll be on a 3-turn clock. I think if I'm going to have a realistic shot at winning, I just need to turn these sideways. But I need to draw like another True Name Nemesis this turn, I think. Okay. Yorion going to hand. Interesting. Sure. Take that damage. Did you just like naturally have Batterskull? There's no point in holding back my creatures because my opponent does have Batterskull. They just put Batterskull in now and then put Sword of Fire and Ice on it. So I'm just going to continue to turn things sideways. But I think I'm screwed. All right. Okay. I don't understand your lines then. Okay. Yes. Sure. So I'm going to take 8 total damage here and be dead to the Spirit of the Labyrinth next turn. I think I'm on no outs. These islands sure aren't doing it. I guess technically I can hold back a creature block Stoneforge and not be... Okay, I technically have an out. I can go to 1 here and then draw a Brazen Borrower. Up. I go to 2. Okay. That does not get dazed. And a Ponder is not going to do anything here. I will just go ahead and concede. About the only thing I could have done differently that game is cast the Preordain the previous turn in order to scry 2 and see if I hit something else. But we did not have help coming. The Cavern of Souls early was brutal. Okay. I need to play Jete. I don't know that back to basics is how I want to be fighting this matchup. Basically, I want to play either Invisible Stalker or True Name Nemesis and then load it up with this stuff. I think the Slither Blades are supposed to come out. It gets unblocked. I don't know, the Spell Pierces are really bad too. I don't love the Slither Blade eats early removal. I don't love that at all. But if I board out all 4 Spell Pierces as a starting point, and how many cards is this? Exile 2 blue cards. Only non-creature spells. I don't know that that's actually good. But like Spell Pierce and Force of Negation are both pretty medium. They're not going to have a ton of targets, especially and those targets are going to be diluted by the larger deck size. Yeah, maybe Commandeer is memeing too much. Play 2 back to basics to round out the deck list. Alright. What does our opener look like? I have a blue source. This is probably a keep. As long as my Preordain hits an island, I have a turn 2 Tree Name Nemesis, which is pretty real. I think I'll keep this. Alright, Chrome Mox, Imprint Force of Negation, cast Preordain. Do I want the back to base? I think I do. Nah. I think I just want to play True Name and then try to find a Curiosity or a Jitte to put on it. I don't think I care about that. That's fine. Turn to True Name Nemesis. Historically, a pretty solid play versus Death and Taxes. The True Name doesn't see too much legacy play anymore. It's picking up again as just kind of an annoying threat that can't be answered by things like Prismatic Ending cleanly, or rather at all. All right. Chip in with True Name. An end of combat. I think I'll wasteland my opponent. Goodbye to your land. Go to second main. And floop in an Invisible Stalker. So I have 4 damage per turn that can't really be messed with, and I have the ability to Force of Will something like a Stoneforge Mystic that could come in and mess with me. I don't think I care about that. There's a reason why I should care about that, but that's basically the one card that's in my deck that makes me really care about that. I've got the better clock here by a pretty significant margin. Okay. That's annoying. 3? Oh, Core Spirit, sure. I'm gonna take my Chrome Mox, making the back to basics harder to cast. That's not the end of the deal. Not the end of the world. Again, I still have the faster clock here. I'm at 18. I'm still just gonna continue to bash on in. Now I have 2 Force of Wills rather than 1. Like, effectively, since I just have more blue cards. So, unless something is a core, it's probably getting countered. Alright. So, opponent could have named Spirit last turn and, like, played around that. And, like, made that uncounterable. Maybe Spirit of the Labyrinth was their draw for this turn, and that's not actually a misplay. Come on. Like, you have a fucking Rishadan port. Use it. Now I get to do this. And I wouldn't have gotten to do that otherwise. I also just could have held up Force of Will. I think either line wins handily. It has to be like a Jitte here specifically. Yeah, okay. So this gets junked. I have 4 damage. I have to hold back True Name for a turn. That's fine. I think this is better. Most of the time this finds me a blue card to pitch 2 Force of Will. Yes, I will use this ability. Yep, there we go. Great. And it'll take me 2 turns, but I should have lethal here. And I have to get past this Jitte counter. My opponent's effectively at 6. I care about that. Pay the 1, pitch the days. If that gets through, then my opponent can get through the True Name Nemesis. Now you can have your Rishadan port. Sure. Continue to swing in with this thing. Okay. Always yes. Always yield. Yes. I will ponder. That stuff's not good. Shuffle there. Jitte's pretty good. I'll need 1 more mana. But my Jitte on True Name Nemesis will be better than their Jitte on any of their creatures. And they basically are not going to have outs to my True Name Nemesis. They're not going to be playing Council's Judgment with a mana base that looks like this. Or at least I hope they're not. Oh. They can recruit her for a Stoneforge, play an uncounterable Stoneforge. I hope I don't end up like 1 life point short of winning this game because I didn't play around a 1-of in an 80 card deck. Okay, there's a Stoneforge. Okay. Opponent does have Cauldra. Alright. So, if I attack for 4 here, my opponent has to use their Jitte counter to stay alive and go to 1. And I have 2 Jitte counters, and my opponent cannot gain life with Jitte because I will be able to kill any creature except Cauldra. Okay, well, if I do this 100% of the time, I guess I equip this here. Just equip this here, and then I keep the Cauldra from entering play. And then this is still brick walled. I'll kill my opponent the following turn. That seems reasonable and safe. I think that's better than kind of going all in and risking them getting some Jitte counters and fucking things up. Always yield. Oh, another True Name is great if this game drags on. Well, let's kill the Stoneforge. Goodbye. And now I do just have lethal next turn. They can run into some weird things like Swords to Plowshares their own creature to stay alive. Or I guess a Charming Prince, gain a couple life. But I think effectively the second True Name is probably the nail in the coffin. Okay, you're deterministically dead taking that line. I just have 4 damage. Haven't even bluffed anything. Get him. Uh-huh. Okay. And we are going to have to do that again. So my opponent's mana base is way greedier than I thought it was. Like, there's shit like Field of Ruin and a whole bunch of Cavern Souls in there. I am probably supposed to play some number of Back to Basics, and we'll get rid of the Slither Blades that can just die to removal. I think I'm good with that. Commandeer is kind of funny. Kind of like it. Because I can take one of their Stoneforges and then just like grab my own Jitte or some shit like that. We think that's a reasonable one of on the draw. Reasonable. It's mostly because I don't think Slitherblade is particularly good here. Alright. I need land. And I can't really interact with my opponent's stuff, but I have like Jitte and True Name. I think I will keep this, use the Preordain to find a land. Hopefully. If this Preordain or my draw steps don't produce lands, I am likely in trouble. Okay, that's great. So we're going to be looking for one more land here. The Commandeer needs to go on the bottom. I don't think I need the second True Name. Like, it's obviously quite good, but I just need to hit the land drop so that I can play it. There we go. Now I am very happy with my situation. I will probably end up brazen borrowing that Ether Vial in my next turn cycle rather than just playing out the Jitte immediately. Okay. Opponent has about the optimal start here. And I guess I preordain looking for land 4 now. Ooh. I probably bottom both of these despite the fact that both have some utility. In case my opponent just mono Rashadan ports me for the rest of this game, I need land 4 so that I can play this 3-drop after getting ported. Alright, opponent's draw is way, way above average here. Right. I am just going to get ported again. Nope. Sure. We'll go so far as to say opponent's draw is just stone cold optimal. There has not been a single miss here. You know, ideal. Turn 1 Vial, turn 2, like, port you, put in Mom. Turn 3, Thalia, port you again. I still have the tools to dismantle this, but my opponent's hand is insanely good. This also may be a time where my opponent is supposed to attack with Mom. You aren't expecting very many removal spells from the mono blue deck. Alright, do you just have the Recruiter? The purple hat trick? Damn. Literal perfect Death and Taxes hand. That's what they look like. Now this gets the Flicker Wisp, which makes my life miserable. So now I mostly just need my opponent to make errors. If they make errors, I can just, like, take over this game with Jitte in a heartbeat. I mean, very happy with this turn of events. In an ideal world, I play Jitte and equip in the same turn cycle so that my opponent can't do Recruiter-based bullshit. Recruiter for, like, Skyclave. Right now I'm thinking about whether or not I want to, like, play, like, a Curiosity or a Curious Obsession, or if I want to Brazen Borrower that Ether Vial at my end step. I think I want to Brazen Borrower the Ether Vial, because the Flicker Wisp chain is obnoxious. I think I'm holding this back. I'm just going to cast this now. We can play this game of chicken, where, like, my opponent maybe tries to hold priority, and, like, I wait for them to put something in. I mean, I'm not going to go into the weeds. There's some fringe scenarios here where I don't want to just play that now. And I'm super, super happy that I played the way that I did, because now they don't have a Recruiter of the Guard chain. How the fuck can you justify playing Council's Judgment with that awful mana base that includes Field of Ruins? I mean, obviously it works, but, like, what the fuck? Okay. In order to win this game, I need to connect with Umezawa's Jitte. I think my hope is that my opponent does not Rashad import me, and I draw a land. This is the one that sacrifices if I didn't attack. Yeah. I think I am taking that damage. And again, I just need my opponent not to Rashad import me. I need them to do something else, anything else with their mana, and I probably win this game. Okay, maybe not that. That's a little rough. Alright, what are you gonna get? Presume just another Flicker Wisp. Oh, nope, just getting a Mother of Runes. There is my land. Well, there is Jitte. There is Equip. This basically has to kill double Flicker Wisp here. That prevents the most possible damage next turn. Alright, so let's always yes to this. Always yield. New Curiosity. Kill a Flicker Wisp. And we're going to do this now to play around Restoration Angel. Yes, I know what I'm saying. I go to 1 here. Assuming my opponent decides to turn Mother of Runes sideways. Yep. I think I'll be okay if I draw like a True Name Nemesis. Not quite okay currently. Oh my god, thank you. Thank you for not taking the lines that make it harder for me to win the game. I really do appreciate it. I see. Well, that is annoying. What the fuck are you doing? That's really tilting. Alright. So I'll pass the turn here. Sure. Destroy your Rashad import in response. You did this in the second main phase? Okay. Sure. So my opponent does just have lethal this turn. But okay. Why the that? Okay. Okay. You could have literally fucking killed me this turn with double protect. And you could have held that Flicker Wisp in order to, like, blank the Jitte and make it so that my shitty 1/1 doesn't do anything, but instead I get to stay alive for longer. It doesn't matter, you're going to win anyway, but just I have no interaction with permanents outside of this Jitte. It is frustrating to be given so many opportunities and not being able to do anything about it because I have a handful of curiosities. Alright. Let's concede here. GG's. Let's see. Round 3, no lands. 1 land. I guess this hand's a keep. The Ponder's fine if it finds a curiosity effect or land question mark. No, it's kind of a curiosity effect with this hand, huh? This hand's probably too good to go back. But I'm not super happy about it. I might not even play the Slitherblade on turn 1. Not sure, it'll kind of depend on what my opponent does. Alright, Underground Sea. So probably Doomsday. In that case, I... Test? Nope, okay. Sorry, didn't pick up my sound for half a second there. Since I have both Daze and Force, I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in play. Gives me better options for later. I don't think I need to hold up Daze and Force and Spell Pierce all simultaneously. But I've been wrong before. Alright. Oh, not Doomsday. That is a primo Daze, because I was going to miss my land drop next turn anyway. Alright, Invisible Stalker. I think this turn I am just going to go ahead and hold up Spell Pierce now that I know that my opponent is a Hymn to Turok deck. I guess I'm supposed to think that my opponent is maybe Grixis Control, but that's not really a deck right now. So rewarded for holding up Spell Pierce. It also could be like some blue black, like Douthie Voidwalker sort of thing. Oh, this is like basically the perfect hand. We'll go land, curiosity, land, no shuffle, land, Slitherblade, number 2. Then we'll crash in for 1. And then next turn we get the curiosity stuff going, which will probably be pretty good against my opponent's discard. Again, still can't really place exactly what my opponent is doing. Whatever it is they're doing, like they get to resculpt here. Oh, just no fetch land, huh? Alright, well, show me like a fatal push or something. Fucking force the will on curiosity. I probably fight back, right? This is funny. If they care about it this much, I should probably care about it this much. Alright. Always yes, always yield. Another land. Now I can hard cast this daze, which is probably pretty good. So this will shuffle, presumably, and kind of clear the brainstorm from last turn. Yep, there is the shuffle. Oop, and opponent still does not hit land drops. They will die to my rogues. Get them, get them, get them. Oh, wasteland. Oh, baby. Get it. Now I have double daze going. Alright. We'll take our attacks before playing the island on the off chance that we draw a different land that we want to play. Although I guess with this deck it's just wasteland. I would prefer a wasteland in play to an island though, in case I somehow get hemmed and like I want to just have this sitting on the battlefield. Alright, it's not a fast clock, but it's good honest work being a rogue. Okay, like maybe not honest, but it's work. Another curiosity. I guess I can just play it over here. I can't do that with the other one since it has the like attack clause, or maybe I can. I'd have to read the exact text. Okay, I don't know how to sideboard. Like my opponent did not show me any win conditions. They are presumably a blue-black or Grixis control list. I guess technically they could be bug as well. I straight up might just board 0 cards and resubmit the main deck. I don't know how reasonable something like Back to Basics is. I've only seen their lands plus a fetch land. Force of Negation might not be crazy. My opponent is doing all sorts of him stuff. Alright, let's board in 2 Force of Negations. I want to board out Slitherblades, assuming that my opponent has removal, or do I want to keep Slitherblades because they get under him? ADK. Maybe let's dunk the foil and 1 Slitherblade. Perfect sideboarding. Opening hand here is totally fine. I will be keeping this. Okay, Prismatic Vista. I mean, maybe they are a straight up blue-black control list. I mean, maybe it's something along the lines of the Sedgemoor Witch deck that I played a while back. Ooh, I love that. I think I'm supposed to go this, imprint the easily removable Slitherblade, and play the slightly stickier Invisible Stalker. And then next turn I have Curiosity for it. There are like sudden edicts that my opponent could be playing that could take this off the battlefield. Okay, they are Grixis. Alright. You're gonna be like a... How are you making him work? How are you making him work, though? Just slightly curious. Okay. That is occurring. So now I just have 1 damage this turn, unfortunately. What do you have for me? Well... I think I've just discovered a problem with my deck construction. I can't beat that card. I have mono X ones. Well, shit. Like, I can bounce it with Brazen Borrower, but I don't have a Dismember or anything that can actually kill that, so, like, that's just around forever. Alright, I am just gonna concede this game. There's a very convoluted line I could try to take where I try to, like, bounce the Brazen Borrower and then, like, counter it on the way back down, but... I don't think I don't think I want to play that game. Okay. Well, the meme deck has found its hard counter. It's Plague Engineer. So I guess Slither Blade as an X2 needs to stay in the deck as a 4 of. And I probably want like, am I supposed to board in Jitte against the Culligan's command deck? So that I can have 2 counters around, and then that can answer a Plague Engineer? I think we're kind of hoping they just don't have it. I'd board in this foil, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna expend too much brain power trying to figure out how to beat Plague Engineer. Furious Obsession helps a lot. Alright. Land. Chrome Mox. Imprint the Ponder. Invisible Stalker. And the rest of this hand is very good. Alright. What do you have? That's just going to be a cantrip. Yeah, your cantrip is fine. I'm hoping to just run away with this game after a pretty optimal start. Ooh, nice. Furious Obsession. I should have tapped Island for that in case I wanted to daze micro misplay. Alright, send it. 17. Okay, hold on. Always yes. Always yield. Okay, now I don't have to show the Wasteland this turn, which is good. Alright. Go ahead and bash. God damn it. God damn it. Yeah. That's rough. Deck kind of feels like the hard counter to the sorts of things that I am doing to snap counter that back. Fortunately, there's probably things like Snapcaster Mage lurking that can mess me up. Snapcaster Sudden Edict is pretty gross. Yeah, okay. Guess that just happens. Alright. Let's find either a true name or a curiosity. I'll keep both of these. Alright, come on, little buddy. We have to set up for a gross Plague Engineer blowout next turn. Alright, so we'll draw the second. Always yes. Always yield. Draw the second Invisible Stalker. And deploy it. Alright, hold on, let me just hover over the concede button. Oh, nope, they did not just play the Plague Engineer. We're still in it. Now if they play the Plague Engineer, I will just concede to that. We don't beat that card. That's a little rude. No, well, this is good. Target you. I guess we go ahead and poke this Narset. That our opponent can't convert it into another card. And again, we're just living in absolute fear of a Plague Engineer. Alright, that is Jace. Brainstorm away. There's probably one card you care about in your deck, and you probably have 3-ish copies of it. I mean, you attack with it, right? Like, you're not blocking. My stuff's unblockable. Alright. How much damage to a player, correct? Yeah. Their true name will kill Jace. This Invisible Stalker kill Narset, and this one will attack you. Now, the Narset is gone, so I do indeed get my card. Okay, how is this worded? Beginning of your end step, if you didn't attack with a creature this turn, sacrifice Curious Obsession. I did attack with a creature this turn. So I can go ahead and play that here, and then this won't die to a Plague Engineer anymore. And I'll take out this Badlands because I'm not doing anything else with this mana. I might be okay here. What is this? New Narset. Sort of annoying. Force of Will. Okay, I don't super care about that card. Nope, so that's just a Snapcaster Ponder looking, somewhat desperately for the Plague Engineer. Which I suppose it's unclear if that's actually going to be good enough at this point. I suppose they can also, like, wipe the board. Well, like, kill. No, like, it requires a lot of Sudden Edicts to take care of my bullshit. Alright. Kill Narset. Hit you with the other two. I don't think I'm at the point yet where I want to hold back an Invisible Stalker to trade with a Snapcaster Mage. Okay. Land means that I have Hardcast Force of Will available. That's not bad. We definitely take that. Now I, at least in theory, have an answer to a Plague Engineer that comes down. Yeah. Maybe a little bit selective about this Force of Will. I'm not guaranteed to just get another. Kind of I hope that they spin their wheels low enough that whatever they do, it can't be backed up by a Rev or Pyroblast afterwards. Alright, you have the Rev or Pyroblast in those 3 cards. Oh, hot damn, we're lucky. My opponent dug hard for that. Okay. So, do I want to ponder pre-combat? I don't think so. Because I get to draw 2 cards, and I may set myself up in a situation where I gain access to, Force of Will plus Hardcast Force of Will or something like that. Always yes, always yield. Ugh! Alright, the Spell Pierces are kind of medium here. Shuffle those. Slitherblade. I play that? I don't think that has any relevancy on the game. I'm gonna hold that in hand in case my opponent has a Toxic Deluge. Feels like that gets a Spell Pierce. Okay, there is the concession. Alright, I thought there was no way in hell we were gonna win that match against Plague Engineer deck. I did not believe hard enough in the Rogues. We're 2-1 now. My opening hand has 3 Slitherblades, so obviously we're gonna snap this one off. Island. Slitherblade, go. Eat your heart out, Island Ponder, go. You've been replaced. Okay. What are you gonna do? Oh? Oh? I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm gonna fucking die. Are we getting belched? Are we getting echoed? Bergy? Right. Oh. Okay. Galvanic Relay. Alright, what all is in exile? Okay, those are some cards. Well, let's Curious Obsession here. And let's crash in. And yes. Yes. Oh, that's not bad, actually. That's a very good draw. So we'll junk the Plateau. Now, the Lion's Eye Diamond is kind of like Black Lotus here. Because these cards can just be cast from exile, so the discarding a hand is not really all that big of a deal when my opponent has 1 card, no cards. How are you going to play this? Are you going to Defense Grids immediately? No, they're going for Bergy. Well, I do not have any counterspells in a bit of a rarity for this deck. Let's always yield to that. Well, there's no card to imprint for Chrome Mox here, but that just turns it into a mana source. So this feels like Rubyish Storm. Just a little splash of strawberry shortcake for probably just the silences, question mark. Okay. So is this just going to get an echo? It is just going to get an echo. Holy shit, please cast echo. But do so before that defense grid is in play, please. Damn it. Yeah, so normally I'm just real good against this sort of stuff. But it just so happened that I kept a hand with no counter magic. Alright. Do your thing. So my opponent has access to Burning Wish as well as Galvanic Relay, so I probably die. Oh shit. That's so much mana. I probably die this turn or next turn. I assume I'm basically dead now. Not actually dead. My opponent has a Tendrils in their sideboard. They don't have the second block for it yet. From Moxen don't have anything. Jesus. Under them. Oh wow, am I gonna get a turn? Getting a turn is cool. I hate that there is no visual mark for cards that can be played next turn with Galvanic Relay. That really annoys me. And they're not separated out into a separate box or anything. But Reforge the Soul. So opponent is going to continue to go. This hand is way worse than my last hand. Alright. Are we done? We get a turn? I gotta be close to just dying to Grape Shot territory. Chain Lightning. Okay. That's fine. I'm at 17. Another Burning Wish into Grape Shot now kills me. Oh, actual factual wish. Oh, I don't get to see what that does, right? Okay, now it's Grape Shot. Alright, GG's. Minus defense grid. I think I'm pretty well equipped against this deck. Like, I get to bring in 4 more counter spells and maybe even ley lines. Just shutting off all the echoes might be good enough. What don't I want? So, like, the what don't I want is going to influence whether or not I actually play ley lines. I don't think I'm supposed to play ley lines. Defense grids are... Silences, too. The silences could be countered. I mean, technically the defense grids can, too. I almost want to commandeer. Just because it's potentially so good after a wheel effect. Bit of a meme. I think I'm going to trim some slow threats and the preordains. And then just board like this. I don't know about that commandeer. Alright, what do we got? No basic land. Mulligan. This hand's fine. I'll toss back the Ponder and be keeping 2 counter spells plus a cantripping threat. It's weird how bad the cantrips feel in this deck. Like, there's not fetch lands here to improve them, and you have, like, so many other things that you want to be doing with your turn 1 and 2. Alright. I think I'm just going to play like this. And assume that Invisible Stalker is Force of Negation fodder some percentage of the time. Oh, just randomly fetching. Sure, always yield. Well, if I knew my opponent was going to randomly fetch mid-combat for no reason, I would not have played a land pre-combat, but here we are. Alright. Alright. My days is now worse. Oh, okay, that's just the turn. If I draw a Wasteland, I would like to play it. So I'm just going to go ahead and attack. This means I don't have hard cast Force of Negation in combat, but I think that's fine. Now, do I want to play another threat? I don't know what I need to. I don't think I need to play another threat. I think I will dump another Curiosity onto here. Right? A lot of mana. The Horn is very good. We're gonna junk that. And if my opponent has a piece of interaction afterwards, I can daze back. I think I just counter that. I have the ability to stop that, and my daze is not gonna get much better. Oh, beautiful. Now let's draw a counterspell, or preferably 2. Throw those on the stack. Always yes, always yield. Alright. I believe it is correct to attack the colored mana here, since my opponent just used their Lotus Petal. Play this. Again, double checking the wording. I did attack with a creature this turn. I am okay to just split those in different places. This is so many cards that I get to draw. Is this why people like blue decks? I would like to Ancestral. Always yes. Oh, I have foil. So this is card an island and another card. Good to go ahead and do that. And I am representing lethal next turn. Okay. Now we have to do it on the draw. It's a little harder. Now, do I want Leyline on the draw? Honestly, I kind of do. It doesn't stop everything, but like the Echo and Gamble-based hands get considerably worse if I have a Leyline in my opener. It will make some of my pitch counters worse, though, because I'll have some cards that just don't pitch to them. I think that's okay. Go down on these. My unblockable creatures will be good enough most of the time. Yeah, and honestly, I think we just junk some cantrips. Weird, but I think it's okay. All right, and it is probably fine. Does not have a turn 1 counterspell, but if I want, it has 2 counterspells available for turn 2. And otherwise, it just has like the Slitherblade Curious Obsession plan. I think this one is fine with me. One has gone to 5 so far. They may be looking for an exceptionally fast hand. Just kind of like knowing how many counterspells that like I have the possibility of throwing into play. Something that can produce a turn 1 defense grid is also just like very, very, very good against me. If I miss my land drop, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to play Slitherblade. Alright, here we go. What do you have? Alright, are you just going for a turn 1 defense grid? Yes. Okay, well that happens. I'm on the draw. Brazen Borrower is fantastic. If I draw a land naturally, I can just like bounce that and then I'll have Daze active next turn. Although I guess I would have to bounce it on my turn and then they could just replay it, which... Alright, so... I don't think it makes sense for me to bounce this until I can counter it on the way back down, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just Curious Obsession. And I can try to draw Wasteland here. Okay. Again, I am asking you, always yes, and always yield, please. Alright. Oh, shit. I wanted to play another Slitherblade there. A pretty bad mistake. Alright. What do you have? Burning Wish? Getting an Echo. Oh, yeah, now I will never get to play this Slitherblade. If my opponent can't really go ham this turn, I can have counters, like I can have Force of Will available through Defense Grid next turn. Well, my opponent has a good amount of mana in 2 different colors here. Alright. Okay. How bad is it? They have Empty. And Empty of that size probably beats me. They also probably have various ways to just keep going. Alright, they got another Jessica's Will, so they're just gonna up their mana count. Means they have another payoff card. Okay, it's Galvanic Relay. So everything except the top 3 cards here. Alright, there's another Burning Wish for next turn, and a Silence. Oh, and we're still going. Just so bad at interacting versus Defense Grid. As I said in the deck tech, it's kind of like counter spells, or nothing, basically. I wonder if they gambled for a second Defense Grid, or whether it was just for an Echo. Alright. So they're going LED Echo again. Am I going to die this turn? Or do I get another turn? A Burning Wish at this point should basically kill me, right? I guess we're not quite to Lethal Storm yet. One more spell would do it. One more spell pre-Burning Wish. Although, honestly, if they can Grape Shot me now, they just have Burning Wish into Chain Lightning next turn, and that kills me. Okay. Gamble thing. It's an Echo. This is pretty silly. Alright, so here it comes again. Can you kill me yet? Alright, so now they are on the horn tech of like just discard 1 card, turn it into cards. This Burning Wish should just kill me as my opponent has proper amount of mana. Yeah, that should do it. Jessica's Will, 7 mana, Burning Wish, Tendrils or Grape Shot or whatever. Alright. Yep, Burning Wish, Grape Shot, and I will concede to that. GG's. Did an opponent mull to like 4 there in order to find that defense grid? I mean, that was important for them. Alright, final round. Opening hand does not have enough mana to function. Easy mulligan. This one is also an easy mulligan. Fuck! This is a 4-card hand. Guess it's like these 4. Hope to draw a Curiosity effect. That's pretty rough. Can't play the meme deck and draw poorly. I need to draw well. I have a very specific plan that I am trying to execute, and I don't think I get to accept any distractions from that plan. Like, I think the only way I win is drawing a Curiosity effect and just, like, spiraling out of control from there. Alright, Taiga. Okay. We're playing against a good deck, unfortunately. And now my hand is unplayable. Burning Inquiry is doing Burning Inquiry things. Okay. We just died. I need to ponder and look for a new land. I guess I have to accept this. Land go! He's Burning Inquiry me into better cards. Okay, thanks. Dash fill. In all honesty, though, like my hand's not that bad. Oop, got a little lag there. LED from the opponent, which means like they can go ham. Like this is the card you counter if you have a counter spell because of what it allows to happen. All right, that's an Anji's Ravager. All right, so my opponent has put an Anji's Ravager into play. So I think I let my opponent attack, and in response to the Anji's Ravager trigger, I Petty Theft Hollow one back to my opponent's hand. I think that's better than stopping the Anji's Ravager from doing a draw 3. I'm under so much pressure though. And again, a major weakness of this deck is that I can't deal with stuff once it's in play. Like I have 2 Brazen Borrowers to do that. Not really enough. Alright, so in comes the squad. Petty Theft. Actually, do I want to bounce the Anji's Ravager instead and take 1 more damage? But I stop this from drawing cards in the future. Sure. I think that's reasonable. I still think I'm quite dead. Like my opponent has gas and a decently stocked graveyard. So note, if my opponent had more mana, the play that I just made would have obviously been very bad because we could have just like madnessed it back in, but because they tapped 1 mana for Putrid Imp, they can't pay the cost there. Alright, I need land for True Name Nemesis. That's not even going to be good enough, is it? So I take land, play Invisible Stalker, jump block, take probably 2, 3, 4, go to 6. Like, you know what? My opponent has demonstrated that they have my number. I don't think I can get 2 of the... I don't think I can get both of the post-sideboard games. I'm going to have to try Demise. I need as many ways as possible to stop an early Lion's Eye Diamond. So that means these are coming in. Back to Basics is very good at stopping my opponent from like doing stuff, but I think I'm going to be boarding in too many cards already. I think I need to board in the ley lines, and I also think I need to board in Jitte. And that means I'm already boarding in 8 cards. So the next question is, do I want to keep Slitherblade in the deck? I think the answer is no, specifically because of like Firestorm just being something that obliterates it. I think I want my threats to be hexproof. So my cantrips will be a little bit better since I'm boarding the Slitherblades out. But again, there's still the medium. I think that's what I'm trimming. Like, the Spell Pierces aren't great against that many cards, but like very important at stopping the Lion's Eye Diamond, which is the best card in the deck, so I think I have to keep it. Oh, the 2 Preordains out. I think I have to keep all my counter spells, which I guess means we're trimming cantrips. Alright. Alright, I would like to play first. How is this hand? This hand has the ability to answer an early Lion's Eye Diamond, but it doesn't have a way to connect with this Jitte. It doesn't have a way to guarantee that I get another mana source. I think I have to mulligan this one. Yikes. This also is not keepable. Sure. So Curious Obsession goes back. And True Name, question mark? This Ponder tries to find a land at some point. Keep the Spell Pierce for LED. Yeah, I think I pitch this. And I think I just go land pass. I don't think I get to Ponder on turn 1 specifically. Just because I'm so afraid of the LED starts. Because just a ton of Madness creatures hitting play is concerning. We're going to pitch the Ponder here and keep Spell Pierce so that if there's a follow-up LED, I can answer that. Now we chill for a while. I probably need to counter something like a Burning Inquiry. Fuck. Alright. GG's. We're done. Yep. You have a lizard. This play pattern is indicative of like a hollow one happening, because otherwise they could do this later. Yeah, so there's the discard 2 cards. This is going to be fetch and a 1 mana hollow one then. I just recorded an episode of the Eternal Glory podcast talking about this deck and how like Graveyard Hate doesn't necessarily neuter it. And like here we had like Graveyard Hate and non-creature counterspells, and it just wasn't good enough. I'm gonna just Stone Cold die to all of this. I'm gonna take 4, 7, 8, 9 next turn. Yeah, I don't think I'm on outs. In they come. There's the pump. Yeah, like I can draw a creature and like chump block to stay alive, but that doesn't get me to the point where Jitte does anything that matters. So I will go ahead and throw in the towel. GG's. All right. Overall thoughts on the deck list? Eh, basically. There is a well-defined plan here. Like the sort of like level 1 strategy is well established. Like play a rogue, put a curiosity or curious obsession on it, and then counter everything. I think this deck kind of functions similarly to ninjas in that regard, where you're looking to play something cheap and then play something else with it that allows it to start to spiral out of control. However, unlike ninjas, which has the ability to impact like my opponent's hand and the stack via counter spells, and the board via removal, this deck only really gets to interact on the stack. And once things slip into play, you know, there's two answers in the main deck to stuff, just generally speaking. So I see that as the biggest downfall of this deck. A secondary problem with this deck is that the cantrips aren't good, because like you just have 14 islands and like there's no fetches to make the ponder better, and just in terms of timing, like this deck wants to hold up Spell Pierce or play Slitherblade on one just a huge proportion of the time, making the cantrip sort of awkward. And you kind of have to mulligan in a way where you have a plan in your starting hand, like because you have like randomly 6 cantrips. This isn't like a Brainstorm Ponder preordained deck where like if you're missing a piece, it's just totally fine. And a lot of times you get put in these awkward situations where like you can ponder, but you don't necessarily want all 3 cards, but it's 3 or nothing. So in some way or another, whether it's by splashing another color or by changing some of the cards in the deck, I think you need more interaction with permanents that hit play. You know, that can be Jittes in the main deck. You know, that can be another color. You know, add white, do some more aura stuff, kind of get closer to Boggles, and like make your creatures big or give them lifelink or something, so it doesn't like matter what your opponent is doing nearly as much. This was, I think, a good first crack at the deck, but I think there needs to be something else here so that you can interact more. Like against the Death and Taxes player, for example, you know, they gave me every opportunity to steal the game back, but I just didn't have cards that allowed me to do so for the most part. So that's the biggest thing that I would be looking at. I'd also probably be thinking about removing the back to basics in the sideboard. Like, it's a cool effect, but the deck has other holes right now. Like, you know, the major hole being like you can't interact with stuff that's in play. I don't think you get to fart around with like trying to mise wins off back to basics most of the time if you have a weakness that is that large. All right, that was fun, Alex. Thank you very much for submitting that. If anyone wants to try this out, you know, do some editing and you know, give it some love. The deck list is available in the video description. Please consider throwing me a like on this video if you haven't already and you made it this far. And if you have something sweet you want to see on the channel, that information is also available in the video description along with the deck list. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See you again tomorrow. Unless it's Friday, in which case, see you again on Monday. I don't know, time, it's weird for me. I record this and then you watch it a while later and I never know when it's going to go up. But at this point, I'm rambling. Bye-bye.